ahead, so I'm going to apologise to them now. I'm sorry about this, but we're being pushed for time. So, speaking for the motion will be JCI Yorkshire, and against the motion will be JCI South. Now, the motion for the final is, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Probably recognise that quote. So I'm hoping for a bit of passion on this one, a bit of animation, but unlike Tarragona European Conference, I want no pottle throwing. Thank you very much. Okay. Great, so if I could have the team captain from JCI Yorkshire to kick off the debate. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, senators, national presidents, local presidents, members, opposition, thank you very much. I'd just like to define the motion there that Drew read out for you as our understanding in why we agree with this motion. So we define the motion of, it is a truth universally acknowledged, where we define universally acknowledged as by the people who know him, that a single man, and we define a single man as a man that is yet to have a married or common law partner, in possession of a good fortune, where we define good fortune as good health and good state of mind, must be in want of a wife, where we define wife as a wife or common law partner. So, to that note, that is where we stand, and we are absolutely for that motion. You're going to hear first from my teammate Stephen. 10 years marriage experience. He's going to be talking from the heart today, guys. From the heart. He's going to give us the insights as to good health and how you can maintain good health by having a partner, and the reasons why we are for this argument. You're then going to hear from Ben. Ben, the single man. He's in good fortune at the moment, and he needs to understand how he can maintain that by looking at the people around him, the people who universally acknowledge that. And we're going to hear again from Ben's experience, calling out to his friends and colleagues as to why he knows that he must be in want of a wife or common law partner to maintain. So, thank you. Without further ado, I'd like to hear from the opposition. Thank you very much.
A timeout has been called by JCI South, so we'll have 1 minute whilst they confer. The leaves must be hurting you by now.
Maybe he's used to praying on the
Well,
You've never been a sound man. The positions I've had to get into.
It's given no sense in an introduction.
We're just waiting on you now, Alex.
Alrighty, timeout up.
Okay, your timeout is over. So if I can ask the captain from JCI South to take to the stage, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, judges, JCs, senators, past presidents, our chair, and of course the opposition. Thank you very much indeed as well for defining the motion and clarifying those 4 additional points. Nonetheless, this is still an archaic statement, taken from a late 19th century book, Pride and Prejudice, by Jane Austen. I'm sure you all knew that. It stands as being out of date. People do not know each other as well as they once did. We're going to start by hearing from Ms. Soraya Bowen, who's going to talk on how marriage as an institution is outdated. That a single man, yet to be married, in possession of good health and state of mind, must want a wife. He must want 1,000 other things, and she shall talk on that. Then Mr. Michael Steele is going to talk about how people, even today, the universally acknowledged part, the people who know him, the single man, don't actually know him that well. And we're going to talk about different ways of meeting partners, common, civil, or heteronormative. How modern ways of meeting means that people don't know each other as well as they used to. Once again, I thank the opposition for redefining the motion and look forward to a lively debate. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. We'll have a very short break whilst the judges quickly mark that's finished. No pressure. All done. Lovely. Great. Thank you. So, if I could have the first speaker from JCI Yorkshire, please. Thank you, Stephen.
Good afternoon, presidents, senators, fellow members, judges, opposition. Just to confer, we're the government, you're the opposition, so please could you address us in that way in the next following few minutes of your time. Now, I'd like to say this quote is not archaic. It was actually stated last year in a study. It did not come from Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, reading up is not one of your strong points. As eloquent as you can speak, and as silly as your laugh might be, obviously literacy is not one of your strong points. Now, what we are trying to say as part of the government is that it is naturally known that a single man in good health, he maintains that good health through having a partner in life. A partner in life will cause stability. There will be less stress for that person. He will have somebody to share it with. There will be many good made meals instead of being on your own, creating a fast food mentality.
Point of order.
Certainly.
It was stated in the Jones, Lang and Wilson Bill 2011 in the Journal for Marriage Sciences that 60% of men cited mental health issues following being married to a woman.
As interesting as mental health, being married to a woman might be, I also think there's plenty of lunatics who are single. I also want to say that creating a long-lasting partnership with a man or a woman, whatever your preference or sexual orientation might be, actually does help you live to become an old person. It also may be, to a study which I have not had the privilege to see, create some kind of mental imbalance. It also creates a lot of mental sanity for some people. Sanity that they might not have had if they wouldn't have found a partner in life at a certain age to grow old with at a later stage. Now, we know the studies are out there. We know that people who are married live longer, that people who go travel together, experience things together, have a more richer life than people who live on their own with their sad, lonely cat or dog. Not that it is a substitute, but conversation is pretty limited on that basis. And therefore, I have to say, it is better to live and grow old and remain healthy with a partner on your side than it is to be on your own. Thank you.
Okay, we're all done. So if I can invite the first speaker from JCI South to come up to the floor. Thank you. That's all right.
Chair, esteemed judges, JCI members, senators and distinguished guests. And the government. I would just like to thank our chair, Mr. Patrick McRae, for stating quite rightly that this quote does come from 19th century Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen, and that it is archaic and has no relation to the 21st century and relationships. And in fact, it comes back to, again, that the reason why does a man need a woman when he has good fortune? Yet again, I find it quite adultery as a woman that I need to go and get married to a man so that he can live longer. According to Harvard studies, marriage is not really beneficial for you as a woman. In fact, it's a benefit for, yet again, a man. Women don't live longer when they get married. We live a lot shorter. But times have changed. We now have rights to education, and we want to have our own wealth. And in fact, it's certainly not my priority to go find a man. If I look at some of the most greatest women and look at certain relationships, Margaret Thatcher is a great example of who wore the pants in that relationship. It certainly wasn't Dennis Thatcher. And if you look at information today, as a Londoner, 80% of Londoners live a single life, and we're quite happy with it. We don't need to develop good fortune to get married. And also, with divorce on the increase, is it really what people want? How about playing the field, finding out who you want to be with, what your persuasion is, before running into a marriage as soon as you've got money? I totally disagree and would want you to disagree with the motion that it's universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of good fortune, whether that's health or state of mind, needs a partner or to be married. I really suggest that you agree that why to be against this motion, because studies clearly demonstrate that marriage is not really necessary, and also charity legacies come from single, wealthy, rich people. They don't come from married couples. So is marriage really what we need in society today? I would strongly recommend that you go against the government and take sides with the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Soraya. Okay, all done. Lovely. So if I can have the second speaker from JCI Yorkshire, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, presidents, senators, members and friends, judges, the opposition, and as I'm the single guy up here, all you single ladies, how are you doing? Now, first of all, I'd just like to take a couple of points from my esteemed colleagues' arguments over there. You're talking about marriage, yet we define it as any common law partner, whether that be a girlfriend, a one-night stand, a boyfriend, however you want to play it. So it kind of makes all the last arguments you made redundant. You're not talking about marriage. And as for the actual thing of it being an archaic idea and the fact it was in the Pride and Prejudice, yes, it was in that, but it was also used last year in the study because it is still a recognised fact and it still makes common sense. I am a single guy, and I would say I am fairly mentally stable and in relatively good health. I could always improve, but so could everyone. But how can I improve that? I can be on my own, or I can try and find somebody to spend my life with. Time and time again, people have told me that when they find a lifelong partner and they find the one, It is so much better than being on your own. And I really wish I could find someone like that. I wish I could share their happiness and their joy that it brings to their lives. I'm a very complicated person as well. And not all my friends know all of me together. They know elements of me. I have a JCI element, I have a businessman element, I have a rugby player element. And they all see different elements of me. And each person in each of those areas all say the exact same thing. So how can they all be wrong when they're all getting a different view and perspective of my life? I sincerely believe that my life would be greatly improved if I could find the one. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, Rob. A few years ago, he was an absolute maniac. He'd go out every week, go out, get drunk, roll in at slack o'clock. His life was on a dead end. He was going downhill. It wasn't brilliant. He then started to turn it round. He created his own business and he got stable. He cleared all his financial problems off and he was all single at this point in time. And he got to a certain level in a plateau. And he sorted himself out. But then he met his wife, Jamie. And within 7 weeks of meeting them, they were engaged. Now granted it wasn't the most romantic, it was done via text whilst he was drunk at a rugby match. But the point is, at that moment in time, he decided to commit. And since they have got married, they've now got a lovely baby son called Alfie, who I am the godfather to, and I'm very proud of that. And his business has improved no end. He's increased his turnover 200% in just 2 years. And they're absolutely happy together. And that's what I'll say to you. It is clear that when you've got a life partner, you are much, much happier. Thank you.
Okay. I'm afraid we've actually run out of time for this room. We're really being pushed by the hotel management to clear the room because I've got another function. So I'm afraid for the audience, this is it. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. We're actually going to go and finish this off very quickly in another smaller room, but there won't be room for everybody to complete. So I'm really sorry about this.